Welcome to another episode of Puff Daddy Reef, and today I have another update on my ultra-low maintenance innovative marine Nuvo Fusion 20-gallon aquarium. That's quite a long name, but it's a simple aquarium, and this is the absolute minimum maintenance aquarium you can imagine. My goal for this tank is to get it 4 months without any maintenance and still look good at the end. And so I took some steps to basically reduce the maintenance of this tank, primarily removing fish, which I know is a killer for most people. I will probably put some fish back in later, but it's serving a dual purpose right now. I have a bunch of snails that are going in my bigger tank, and being without fish gives some time for these snails to quarantine. If there's anything like ick or other fish-type diseases that ship with them, those things should die off within about 70 days, and then all of these invertebrates will be ready to go in my big tank. So I'm gonna show you a little bit about how it's doing. Not much has changed in a week, but there has been some interesting things happening in here. First of all, this tank is pretty much just snails and emerald crabs. Now, I had emerald crabs in there because at one time I did get bubble algae into this system. Another reason why I'm so particular about quarantine and why I have not yet put anything significantly from this system into my exceptionally large aquarium out here. So in it I have a bunch of emerald crabs, and they have been working away. If you want something to control bubble algae, I highly recommend emerald crabs. They've done an exceptional job, and I have not seen any bubble algae since. I should have 6, but I see 4 immediately right here, so I've got 2 down on this rock, 1 on the back there, and 1 over here. Now, I also have chaetomorpha algae in this display that helps consume nutrients, and it appears that the emerald crabs also will eat that too when they get a little hungrier. So the hope is that they basically eat that before they attack any of my corals. There's one guy walking over some of the corals right now. I had a question from a question from a viewer on, do I have a skimmer in this tank? And basically I do not. This is a very simple system. There's nothing in the back there but a heater, and I do have 1 filter sock here. These are kind of an add-in thing to kind of cut down on nutrients, but these are, it comes with a little box, but you can get the filter sock separately later. I will probably put another one over there, and then I have my auto top off and my heater, and some sensors to look at pH. But it's a very simple tank, and if you look underneath, pretty much all I have is a mess of fish food there, which I use to store the fish food for my other tank as well, and this 5-gallon water storage drum that just happens to fit perfectly for this tank. I really lucked out on getting it. You kind of have to push it to get it into the tank stand, but after that you can basically route your water out through this little port in the back and then through a hole, and then the auto top off goes to the top. So right now it's been 1 week, and it looks like we've maybe used about a quarter, maybe a little more of that water, so it might make it the whole month without me touching it at all. Now, one thing I do want to note on this tank is, because it's so low stocked, it takes a long time for algae and other films to build up, and the snails do a really good job of taking care of that. So I haven't even scraped the glass here, and it's pretty clean. There's a little bit of stuff kind of floating around in there, but the tank's pretty clean. And these zoanthids are just looking absolutely gorgeous. So here's some, I think those are purple hornets. I think these are pink zippers. Some of these names, they all change depending on the region of the country that you're at or part of the world. Those are some utter chaos. I've got some green hornets back there. Some Sunny D Pallies, some other interesting ones. If you have any ideas of what some of these names are, the ones, well, snail in the way back there directly are everlasting gobstoppers. I do have a lot of marine snow or kind of other particles in this tank. That might be just because of the flow, and the detritus kind of builds up at the bottom. Like I said, I haven't touched it. Normally if I was maintaining this tank, I would suck all that off of the bottom. So you can see there's a little bit of detritus on the bottom rather than sand. But yeah, these zoas, I really like them. They're pretty gorgeous, and I've propagated them quite a bit. So they've just been sitting on frag plugs. Really haven't got around to selling any of them, but they all do well, and when they get on the rocks, they really fill out and look good. So this is basically it. This is the first week of the 1 month challenge, not touching the tank. So I would just stay tuned. It's going to get more exciting because I have a ton of stuff going on my other tank. Let me just show it just for a second. So this is my Innovative Marine Nuvo Fusion 20-gallon aquarium. Sorry, that was the other tank. This is the Red Sea Reefer 650. And this tank has had some issues, kind of a slow start. The rock was extremely dirty. My skimmer was undersized, and it's generated tons and tons of junk. But look, I didn't empty it just to show you. The skimmer size really can't keep up with this tank. So I'm not a fan of super oversizing your skimmer, but that skimmer is made for like a 40-gallon tank, and this has maybe 175 total gallons. So I have bought a new skimmer, and I'm going to do a review of that too. So subscribe to my channel, and you'll hear when I do the review of that skimmer. I've also had another tank catastrophe. I'm going to post a video about that too, so subscribe and you'll hear all about that story. It has to do with automation, why not to trust it, also why to test your tank. And that's about it. So thank you very much for tuning in. That's all I have for today, and sorry for the quality of this video. This is a phone video today because I lost my camera, but enjoy, and I'll see you next time.